Hi everyone, my name is Ben and I'm a naturalist with Summit Metro Parks. And today we're going to be junior entomologists. Now you may be wondering, what is an entomologist? An entomologist is someone who studies insects. Now there are a couple of different reasons why we'll study insects. And the first is to study biodiversity. We can see how many insects are in a certain habitat or an area, and that tells us how many insects are there, but also how many other animals are living there as well. We can also study insects for farming purposes. Farming and agriculture are incredibly dependent on insects because insects help pollinate, and insects can be pests and they'll eat the food that we're trying to grow. Now that we know why people study insects, are you ready to be a junior entomologist? Great! Let's get started. So what is an insect anyways? Insects have a very specific definition. All insects will have 3 body parts: a head, thorax, and an abdomen. They'll also have 6 legs and 0, 2, or 4 wings. Now, there are lots of different shapes and sizes of insects, like butterflies and praying mantises. They're very different, but they're both insects. Scientists use something called a dichotomous key to help tell them apart based on their characteristics. As a junior entomologist, you're going to come across a lot of different insects, but also a lot of different things that aren't insects. And it's really important to be able to tell them apart. So I have a quick quiz to help you learn what is and what isn't an insect. So first up, let's talk about worms. Do you think worms are an insect? That's right, they're not insects. And that's because worms don't really have body parts. They have 0 legs, and they have 0 wings. This means they are annelids, which is a type of worm. How about roly-polies? Roly-polies, or potato bugs, are pretty common. We see them pretty frequently. Do you think this is an insect? That's right, they're not insects. Roly-polies have many different body segments. They have 14 legs, and they don't have wings. Roly-polies are actually most closely related to crabs and lobsters because they are crustaceans. Now, how about a bumblebee? Do you think a bumblebee is an insect? That's right, they are insects. You can see the bumblebee has 3 body parts: the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. They have 6 legs, and bees have 4 wings. So they're insects. How about spiders? Do you think a spider is an insect? That's right, spiders are not insects. Spiders are arachnids because they have 2 body parts and 8 legs and no wings. Now it may seem like there are a lot of things that aren't insects, but there are also a lot of things that are insects. Insects are actually the most prevalent animal in the world. There are over 2 billion different kinds of insects in the world. In Ohio, there are around 2,000 different kinds. In total, there are over 10 quintillion insects living on Earth at any given time. Now I understand that's a crazy number, and it's too big for me to understand. So I did some math to break it down. If we took all 10 quintillion insects that live on Earth and we divided them between every single person on Earth, every person would have over 1 billion insects. That's a lot of insects. That's still too many for me to kind of think about. So I did some more math. And if we put all of our 1 billion insects into a box, that box would be bigger than a car. That's a lot of insects, right? Wow, insects are so cool. Well, you may be wondering, what on earth are all of these insects doing? Well, boy howdy, let me tell you. First off, insects are pollinators. Pollinators are a kind of animal that move pollen from one flower to another flower. This helps plants to reproduce, and it also allows them to grow nuts and fruits and vegetables. That's really important for humans as well because it helps with farming. How many vegetables and fruits do you like? Maybe more fruits than vegetables, like me. But All of those are thanks to insects. Insects are also decomposers. Decomposers are a kind of animal that break down dead things. And thank goodness we have decomposers. Otherwise, we'd just be covered in dead things, which is gross. This also helps return nutrients from the dead things to the soil so that plants can use them in the future. Finally, insects are at the bottom of the food chain. This means that there are a lot of other animals that like to eat insects. Other insects eat insects, spiders, birds, and the list goes on and on. One animal that we see frequently in the metro parks that loves to eat insects is the black-capped chickadee. Chickadees feed their babies almost exclusively caterpillars. In order for parent chickadees to raise one baby chickadee up to leave the nest, they have to feed it about 1,500 caterpillars. Now remember, chickadees will have anywhere between 5 and 8 babies at one time. That means that in order for them to raise their kids, they have to feed them between 8,000 and 12,000 caterpillars. That's a lot of caterpillars that are going to feed those birds that are just so gosh darn cute. Now that we know what an insect is and why they're important, it's time to get out and find some. Let's go join Naturalist Janine to learn how we can catch insects in our backyard. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our social media using the hashtag #AtHomeInNature for more content. Thanks for tuning in. We're Summit Metro Parks. We're your backyard.